Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have two clips for you today that both involve custody issues. And the first one is with Judge Gerald Prill at the 52nd Circuit Court in Michigan. And the second one is with Judge Tangela Barrie at the DeKalb County Superior Court in Georgia. And in both of these cases, the judge has to set these people straight, especially the second one. I have to use a code word here. The very bratty baby goat thinks that she runs the show, and she needs to have the record straight. I'll let you guys watch.
On the matter of Chastity Marie Atwell versus Christopher Charles Duly, 26755 DM. It's time of day for the show of cause, alleging show of cause violations. Mr. Duly, parties are present. Would you both please raise your right hand?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Allegation is that a father denied parenting time to mother on 2 different occasions. Mr. Holman, do you have anything to say on this?
The parties share joint legal joint physical custody, Your Honor, from the January 15th, 2021 order. On December 11th, 2023, the parties had stipulated that Ms. Atwell received every weekend parenting time with the minor child from Friday at 4 to Sunday at 6, that the child remaining with Mr. Duly during the school year, during the week, and that he would get 1 weekend of parenting time as mutually agreed by the parties. We had received a written complaint from Ms. Atwell on January 22nd, 2024, stating that she was denied her weekend parenting time for January 19th through the 21st. As a result of that complaint, a 21-day notice was sent to Mr. Duly, notifying him that we received a complaint. He had 21 days to respond to the complaint to our office. The very next week, Your Honor, we received on January 29th another denied parenting time for the weekend of January 26th to the 28th. As a result of 2 weeks in a row of denied parenting time complaints, the show cause was scheduled for today.
Thank you. Your explanation, sir.
Well, I had CPS actually get a hold of me, said that there was an allegation against Chastity at the time. They wouldn't tell me anything that was going on, so I told Chastity that I was denying her that weekend because I didn't feel safe sending my daughter knowing that there's a CPS case.
Well, how would you know what the CPS matter is even involved in?
Well, why would there be a CPS case involved in the first place?
No, please answer my question. You said you didn't know. It could be anything. That thugs to
So that's
mass murder. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I know. I'm just saying too. Either way,
so were you told by? I'm assuming that you were told by CPS not to give the children back to her.
No, they said no.
Oh, okay. So what gives you the right to violate a court order then?
Because I am the father and I feel that there was some unsafety measures on her part. Okay, and when I got a hold of her, she told me that she got pulled over with 2 kids and she got arrested because she was under the influence of medication, which I don't know, but either way, if my daughter's in that car and she got in an accident under the influence of drugs, any medication or whatever, then yeah, that would be her fault. So that is why I denied her weekend until I got probable reassurance, I guess, to feel that she was able to take her.
Well, what reassurance did you get?
Honestly, until the CPS got a hold of me and told me exactly what all happened, then yeah, I don't know. I just know I didn't feel safe sending her. Plus, not only that, my daughter has come to me and told me that.
Well, we can't go into what the child said. That's hearsay.
Okay, well, then I guess we just keep letting it happen, huh?
I'm sorry?
I guess we just keep letting it happen then?
Let what happen?
Well, that's what I was just gonna tell you. Either way, my daughter.
Sorry? Okay, excuse me. You're being very disrespectful, sir. Very disrespectful. This is a courtroom. If you want to be disrespectful with the court has ways to handling that. All I want you to do is explain what happened why you did what you did. I'm not asking for.
And I tried to.
No. You're being very disparaging. Is the child going back to mother now or not?
Sure.
Sure. So she's had her time with children, or the child then? Or have you continue to deny the parenting time?
No, I'll let it.
No, you don't understand my question. Was there another, did mom have the child last weekend?
No.
So we're beyond February, we're into, if she gets a child every weekend, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So you denied February 2nd through the 5th or through the 4th?
Yeah.
Just a moment, I'm asking Mr. Duly. When were you informed by CPS of the allegations?
The week of 119.
Okay. Anything else?
To be honest, I just feel like if I got pulled over or anything and it was flipped on me, it would be a whole different story.
Why do you say that?
Because it's Mother's Day, and I feel like every time I come into this court, Chastity gets rewarded, Chastity's being heard, and every time I file a motion, she gets rewarded. I have been coming to this court the last 2 years, and I've had evidence of what my daughter has said or what has been going on, and it hasn't been heard. And everything just keeps going on.
Whatever's been presented has been heard, but the rules of evidence apply.
Well, yeah, I had the evidence, but no one just wanted to hear it or see it or nothing.
Just for the record, Your Honor, to Mr. Duly's statements, he filed a motion last time that was scheduled for December 8th, 2023. And as a result of his motion, the parties agreed to the order that entered on December 11th.
Right.
If he didn't agree, he had every option to bring all those concerns to the court, but he agreed.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, at that time, but also at the same time, I wasn't being heard. Like I got hold of CPS last year because of some reasons, and I wasn't being heard. I pretty much got told that my daughter had to pretty much be in the hospital for anything to happen. A cop.
Police officer. What's the name of the police officer?
I can't remember. It was last year. All I know is
Huron County, Sanilac County,
it was Saginaw County.
Saginaw County. Okay, well that's not a courtroom.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a courtroom. I said it was a cop.
Well, I guess a couple of things.
Let me ask this, are there criminal charges pending right now?
Yes.
Okay, what's the charge?
A OUID and a child endangerment.
Okay.
The OUID though, I do want to clarify.
Well, be very careful, because anything you say
to.
can and will be used against you in a court of law.
I'm going to. It is
You've been
for
warned.
prescribed medication.
I don't care if it's prescribed or not prescribed, if you're under the influence, you should not be behind the wheel.
As of the CPS.
Do you agree with that?
I do. As of the CPS case, it was an open closed cat 3.
Cat 3.
Yes, it was open. The evidence was found to be true. However, the case was closed as there were no other significant safety concerns. Is what I was told for work. Christopher's statement is true to a point. Child Protective Services never told Christopher what happened because it does not have to do anything with the minor child, our minor child together. Also, there was
allegedly operating a motor vehicle under the influence of a child in the car. That doesn't involve the child, or
no, that I'm saying it wasn't with my child. I wasn't in the vehicle with my child.
Oh, I see.
And there was only one child in the vehicle when it happened, not two.
Okay, well, regardless, whether it's your child or someone else's child, that doesn't make any difference to me. No, absolutely not.
It's not right. Either way it's looked at, it's not right.
Is there a safety plan put in place?
Yes.
What's the safety plan?
2 safety plans, actually.
What's that?
I will not drive with the children. I have released my driver's rights to myself or my children.
What does that
And
mean?
particularly I refuse to drive with any children in the car. It doesn't, even though it's not ZA, I don't know if that will bring back any reference to
It
you.
does.
Okay, I am safety planned to not be in the vehicle with her, driving with her. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said not in the vehicle. I cannot drive with her.
Well, no, that was court order.
But-
That wasn't a safety plan. That was a court order.
I know, but in the beginning, that was also put in the safety plan.
Okay.
But there was never a safety plan put in play to where I couldn't drive with my other two minor children.
So
However,
you're
I
saying
have
now,
relinquished my rights, and I do not drive with any children. I
so
refuse.
are you agreeing then, well, at least for a while this case is pending, that you will not operate a motor vehicle with any children in the vehicle?
Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly what I'm stating.
Also.
Mr. Duly?
Yeah, also, another reason why I denied her the weekend of 126 is because I was told she was at the bus stop, but she in her car by herself.
What?
And I have witnesses.
Again, you were told, but
I have eyewitnesses. I have eyewitnesses.
when's the alleged incident to have occurred regarding the charge? What date was that?
The first one or the second one?
There's two?
Yes.
There are two incidents
There's-
involving you operating a motor
Or
vehicle?
no, I'm sorry, about the denial. There's
No, I want to know,
that was
when did that allegedly occur?
January 2nd.
Okay. So you've missed 2 weekends, right?
Yes. Could I add?
When did the safety plan go into effect?
I don't have the exact date. I don't have my notes on the safety plan.
So this happened in early January, correct? The operating a motor vehicle?
Yes.
You got the other weekends before?
Yes, up until the last 2 weekends.
So you had January 6th through the 7th?
Yes.
There was times that you would tell me that you couldn't take her.
Hold on, I just wanted to make sure I was correct. Normally, you would have January 5th to the 7th, January 12th through the 14th, 19 through 21, and 26 through 28, correct? January? Mr. Duly, when were you advised by DHA or CPS regarding this Friday?
It was, I think, I didn't get told that by the CPS that she was that I got told by Chastity herself. They told me that there was an allegation against Chastity and that because my daughter wasn't actually with her at that time and that they weren't able to tell me.
Well, when did she tell you that this happened?
I think it was like a Thursday night of the weekend of the 119th. It was like a Thursday, maybe.
Oh, so you weren't aware of it?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it until I got a hold of her of the weekend before of 119, and that's why I denied it, because I didn't know until actual CPS got a hold of me, because they still haven't got an actual hold of me to tell me what's going on.
When did they get a hold of you?
It was the weekend before 126 where I actually got to talk to them in person. They came to my house, checked it, investigated it.
The week before the 26th is what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's when they actually got to talk to me.
So again, when was the safety plan put into effect?
I'm not sure of the exact date with that. I'm sorry.
All right.
Could I please say something to the board?
What do you want to say?
He says that I didn't have anybody there. I clarified it in my motion that I brought somebody with me. I took that precaution and I still brought somebody else with me to drive. And Dustin was with me. Dustin was with me that first, not the second time, the first time he was with me. That's when Christopher's aunt, Nicole, never got off the bus. They went and picked her up from school. So that way I couldn't get her off the bus both weeks.
Okay.
Chris's aunt was very sarcastic, circling around because I waited outside of the residence until 4:30 as I was supposed to. She was very sarcastic, rolling her window down, spitting out the window, saying.
Oh, okay, I just want to know the delay, the times that you were denied. We have the third week as well, right? We may as well address them all.
What was complained for, Your Honor, was yes, the weekend of the 19th of January and the 26th of January. There would have been last weekend as well.
Right.
But, we didn't receive a written complaint on that issue.
I didn't go.
The other thing is that Mr. Duly is entitled to one weekend if there's an agreement. So, or do you want to take that into account?
Okay. Well, can't take the law into your own hands, Mr. Dooley.
I get that, but safety is my one
Again.
concern for my daughter.
Right, no, you don't have to repeat that, I understand that, and this is what the court is going to rule. First off, the allegation is bad enough. There's no reason or justification for it, I don't care if it's regular medication, it makes no difference. If you're not properly able to operate a motor vehicle, don't do it, especially with children. Court finds that one of the weekends, namely February 2 through 4, were wrongfully denied. January 19 through 21, bless you, January 26 through 28, I find was proper under the circumstances. It's not an excuse, but when an issue comes up like this, bring it up to the front of the court. Do not take the law into your own hands. I find you in contempt for the February incident. Mother's entitled to one makeup weekend for the weekend of February 2nd through the 4th. The other two, there is no show cause there. Hearing that will be held. Court doesn't find the father acted inappropriately in the circumstances. So you get one additional weekend. Go ahead.
I would also request change of venue.
Denied. That'll be all.
No.
No, sir. Other than the makeup weekend, that's it.
So then I get her today,
Whose weekend? It's still your weekend, is it not?
today from Friday at 4 o'clock, yes.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is Judge Tangela Barrie. I'm the judge for Division 10. This is our emergency matter on a domestic case 22 FM 8002, the matter of Wade versus Thomas. So I received a motion asking for an emergency hearing. I only have a few minutes to determine the emergency nature of it, and also if the court is willing to put some temporary parameters in place. But Ms. Holloway, I think you filed that motion. You have the court's attention.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was talking. I don't think y'all heard me. Thank you, Your Honor, for giving us this time to address you. As we kind of stated in the motion, there have been some things that have occurred since the parties had their final hearing, which is in October of last year, that my client believed that should be brought to the court's attention. Specifically, there have been several, Ms. Thomas has been arrested several times, and he thought that the court would want to know that information because he believes that it pertains to her ability to provide some stability for the minor children. When she has been arrested for these things, if the children are in her custody, the children would have to go with someone else or to Mr. Way. All of these criminal cases have not been resolved. It's my understanding at least 2 of them are still open, one in DeKalb County, at least, as well as one that is pending in Houston County. Houston County is a felony, which she's obviously alleged innocent until proven guilty. But in the event that she is proven guilty, that potentially may have some prison time. In addition to those,
let's go to the emergency issue. I mean, those are matters that we can take up at another time.
right.
Tell me what's going on now wherein this is urgent for the court to address.
And I was going to get into that, but the minor child that the court requested be on the Zoom is here. So
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted me to address it in front of her or how you wanted to handle that portion.
Right, great. Ms. Marshall, if you'll put the minor child, I'm assuming that's Kalea. Is that Kalea? Or Kalea? Or Kalaya?
Oh, I thought she was.
It's
coming up.
Kaylee.
Kaylee, okay.
It's Kaylee.
It's Kaylee, we're gonna place you in a waiting room, so you'll go there, just wait there, and we'll bring you back in shortly. All right,
Okay.
hold on for a second. Miss Marshall will take you to that room. Okay, she's already done it. Okay, go ahead, Miss Holloway.
Okay. And it's my understanding that on or about January 15th, there was an incident that occurred at Miss Thomas's home involving her and the minor child that was just excused. From what I understand, that there may have been a boy involved. I don't know if the boy was in the house or something happened where Miss Thomas may have gotten angry at the minor child for something that she did. As a result of that, there was an altercation where the minor child says that she was punched in the face and that there were some bruising. One of Miss Thomas's relatives reached out to Mr. Way so that he can come get the minor children from Miss Thomas's care. The police were called. Miss Thomas was not arrested for that. DFAX was called. I'm unsure of what was determined, but I believe that case has been closed. Mr. Way's concern is that there has been kind of ongoing friction with Miss Thomas and this particular minor child. Miss Thomas has pled guilty in the past to family violence against Mr. Way. There is a 3-year protective order that is still currently in place in addition to that criminal case. And so his concern is that now these violent actions are being extended to the child. Even though Miss Way was not arrested and there is no criminal case, she did strike the child, and the minor child did reach out because she wanted to speak with you directly, Your Honor. And so she emailed our office, and so we attached her email to the petition as well. If Your Honor wanted to speak with her.
Okay. What is she saying happened to her?
She said, and she said it in her email, that Miss Thomas punched her in the face, punched her in the eye, and gave her bruises to her face, that Miss Thomas takes out her anger on the minor child, and she doesn't feel safe there at home with Miss Thomas.
Okay, you started by saying there was something about a boy, and then you said,
I believe that was the subject of why they got into that particular altercation on that day.
Okay, that a boy was in the house, or that they were talking about a boy?
And that's what the parties can, if you'd like. It's my understanding that there may have been a boy in the house, but I'm hearing it secondhand, and so the parties can Miss Thomas maybe can elaborate on the subject of the argument.
And you said she was punched in the eye, and that there were bruises. Were they visible bruises? Because generally, when you call the police, if there are visible bruises, something generally happens. So did she indicate that were there visible bruises that you could see, or you have any pictures of it?
Your Honor, I do not have any pictures of them. My client did not provide me with them. Are there pictures? And Mr. Way I can swear him in and have him testify as to whether he took pictures.
But generally right now, you're not aware? I'm
not aware, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. All right, Ms. Thomas, what's your position on this?
Your Honor, I never hit Kaylee. She was talking to a little boy on the phone. Did you hear me?
Let me just swear you in real quick.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give to the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
On January the 15th, Kaylee was talking to some little boy, I guess, on Zoom. And when I was talking to her, I was telling her that we was finna go. We was going somewhere. And she didn't want to go, and she was talking to the little boy on the phone. And I said, Kaylee, come on, you need to come on, let's go. And so the boy was like, yeah, you need to tell your mom to shut the F up and stay in her place. So I said, Kaylee, give me your phone. So she was like, no, I'm not giving you my phone because my dad said you don't have to, it's my phone, I don't have to give you my phone. So after that, so she wound up eventually giving me the phone after I kept saying, Kaylee, give me the phone. So next thing I know, the police come to the house because I wasn't here. I had left. Me and the youngest daughter, Sharia. Me and her had left. And when I got back, I was out and about, and my grandmother called me and said that the police was here. So I'm like, what the police at the house for? And he talked to me on the phone, and he said that it was a accusation that Kaylee supposed to have got punched in the face with a phone, and she's supposed to have bruises. But he said he didn't see anything on her, and he said that since she was a minor, that he couldn't arrest her because she had to have some points. In Georgia, they have now where a minor to order to send in a juvenile, they had to accumulate points. And he told me that I need to go to the juvenile justice department because the police done been here multiple times last year for the same incident with Kayla and her dad calling the police on me.
What now?
The police have been here multiple times last year because it's always when I tell Kayla she can't do something or I take Kayla's phone, she'll get in touch with her dad through the email, and he'll have the police come to the house, as well as he'll have defects come to the house. So I guess he took her to the emergency room, I guess the same day. And 2 days later, the defects came to the house saying that there was an accusation that Kayla supposed to have got hit in the face with a phone. So the defects case is still open. And she's like, she talked to Kayla and she talked to the other minor child, which is Sharia. And Kayla had said and told her exactly what happened with the little boy on the telephone. And I had got her, and I took her phone from her. So they put in a place to where that I got the paper in the house. That it was no that they didn't want to take them, that they didn't see nothing wrong with what was going on in the house. It was the kids weren't in no danger.
Okay. So how do you think it's the best way to resolve the issue?
So I had asked her to give I asked her to give Kaylee therapy and counseling for individual and separately. And she agreed, as well as the supervisor agreed. And we're supposed to start Monday.
Okay.
And I also found out as well today when I requested Kaylee history report from the hospital, and I requested that yesterday, and they sent me back an email today stating that she's pregnant. And I'm trying to figure out how she's pregnant when I don't let Kaylee go anywhere.
You got a medical report saying she's pregnant?
Yes. And my kids don't go anywhere. I don't let my kids go nowhere. I don't let them go to nobody's house. And I was trying to figure out why nobody let me know when he took her to the emergency room that they found out that she was pregnant. I had to find out through a record that I requested.
And it's on the record she's pregnant. You're sure of that?
Yes.
Mr. Way, were you aware of that?
No, ma'am. Because she wasn't given a pregnancy test or anything. And the only thing they did diagnose her with the bruises with a face contusion and head injury from what happened to her earlier that day. So the pregnancy test is something new to me.
Do you have pictures of the?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Yes, I do. I thought I uploaded everything. I have the hospital report. I thought I uploaded everything to Miss Holloway, and that was on me. I thought everything was uploaded, but I have pictures and everything. I have the medical report and all that goes along with that. I have no problem with
what does the pictures depict? What do the pictures depict?
A cut on her face, and like cuts on her lips. And when I went to the hospital, her face was swollen, the left side of her face, where she said she was hit in the face with a phone. Because the situation was she called me from her grandfather.
So you're saying that she was hit multiple times in the face? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she said she was punched and she was hit with a phone. I got the email. Like, she emailed me that day, and her younger sister called me and told me that they were fighting. And Kayla didn't call me from her phone. She called me from her uncle's phone, and he allowed her to tell me what was going on. And so
my uncle wasn't at home. Nobody at home.
Miss Thomas Wade, don't interrupt.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I do apologize because I have the phone number in my phone because it's a number that I didn't recognize, and I almost didn't answer it, but I'm glad that I did. And she said that her uncle gave her the phone so she can contact me. Because the younger sister called me prior to them arguing because I could hear them in the background going back and forth. The youngest daughter told me, Sherry told me what was going on, that it was an altercation between her and Miss Thomas about a boy's, the situation with what the boy was saying. That's what everybody's saying that was that. And I said, I understand that. I can't argue. I don't condone what the child said. but I do condone the actions that go along with that, because she called me, both children called me, text me. Yeah, I have emails, so that's why I called to see what was going on. And when the initial officer, he didn't see anything, but I noticed something, and I took my child to the hospital, and the doctors conferred with me that she has a facial contusion and head injury.
A head injury?
Yes, ma'am. They said head injury because they said because of her age. They can you hear me?
Yes, head injury where?
Yes, head injury.
Yes, where?
They said that she might have had a concussion, like up in the area, but they said because of her age, they can't test her for concussions.
Okay. All right, let me go in the breakout room and speak with her. All right.
Okay, then bring her back in first and then send you to breakout rooms.
Okay.
Judge, do you want to give her instructions?
Yeah, you can. Yes. Can you?
Okay. Is it Kylie?
Miss Wade, Miss Kaylee, unmute yourself.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go into a breakout room with you. So when you see the little tab that says breakout room, make sure you hit that so you can go into a breakout room.
Okay.
Am I assigned, Alina?
I'm getting ready. I'm gonna move her first, Judge.
Okay.
So you're gonna join room, and then when the court is finished speaking with you, you're gonna leave room. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see where it says join room? Might be towards the bottom.
Yes.
Okay, hit that. Okay, Your Honor, I'll move you now.
Okay. All right, can y'all hear me? All right. So, Miss Wade, can you tell me what happened that day? Tell me your version of what happened. You're saying that you took the phone and that was that. You never talked with her. Y'all never got into a fight. There was no altercation. Child never said anything. You don't know what she's talking about. Is that what you're telling me?
There was no altercation. I don't think when I took her phone, she kept saying that I didn't have to give her phone because her dad said that she don't have to give me nothing because he bought the phone.
Oh, okay.
So
Miss Wade, I thought Miss Wade was still. I thought Miss Wade was in the breakout room. I'm sorry. Hold on for a second.
Okay.
Miss Marshall, can you put Miss Kaylee in the breakout room for me, please?
You want her in the waiting room or the break?
Sorry,
Okay.
the waiting room.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, go ahead and tell me what you say again now.
So when the little boy said, when I was telling her, let's get ready to go. And I kept saying, Kelly, let's go. Because her little friend was over. She had a female friend over and she wasn't feeling good. So I was like, I could take her home. And so I was like, Kelly, let's go. So she was on the phone on Instagram. I guess it was a group of people. And that's when I said, Kaylee, let's go. He's like, you need to tell. He's like, Kaylee, who's that? She was like, that mama. He's like, she needs to stay in her F in place. I'm like, tell her that. Yeah, he said she needs to stay in her F in place. So I'm like, who is he talking to? So I said, Kaylee, give me the phone. And she was like, mama. So I was like, Kaylee, just give me the phone. So I got the phone from her. It was no altercation after that.
Okay, so you didn't go in on the child that was on the other end of the phone?
Yes, I said something to him, but Kaylee wasn't in the room when I said something to him.
Okay.
I was in the other room.
So did she never try to get the phone back from you?
No.
She never tried to get the phone back from you?
No.
Oh, okay. And there was no other altercation, no other time where you all got into any type of altercation, verbally
No.
or physically?
No. Every time I try to discipline Kaylee, she sit there and call her dad and say that I do something to her. It's every time I discipline her, if I don't let her get her way, it's I'm gonna call my dad and say this. It's every time I discipline her. If I take her phone, I'm gonna call my dad and say you did. I'm gonna call my dad. I'm gonna call my dad, or she'll email him and say something. And that's when the police will come to the house. It's every time I sit here and tell her she has to do something, is she if she don't get her way, she she just called him. Well, if I let her get her way, she's just fine.
Okay, so I just spoke with her, and of course she tells a different story than what you're telling. But one of the things that she did acknowledge was that she feels like counseling would help. She does acknowledge that she has anger issues, and that it makes you angry because she is smart at the mouth. She says, at least she says that it triggers you, and she feels like she needs to learn ways how to calm down, because she says that you get triggered when she speaks her mind, and that you and I guess maybe your mother have indicated that, you know, she needs to stop being so angry. One of the other things that she acknowledged that is that you all get into altercations in discipline. She said, you know, like if you'll tell her to clean her room and she doesn't want to do it, y'all get into altercations. She said that y'all got into a fight one time before when she wants to use her iPad or her phone and you don't let her use it. She doesn't believe that you have the authority over the phone and the iPad because it's her dad's. And so she appears to acknowledge that she does tell you those things, that she has those, that she doesn't think you have the authority over those devices. And so she kind of takes up for herself in that regard. So she thinks that's what has caused the last altercations. She says, however, that this is not the first physical altercation, that there have been 3, and she went through them with me: fight over the cleaning of the bedroom, fight over the iPad, fight over the phone. And that she just doesn't get along with you because I guess her dad, she's having a little bit more freedom, kind of speak her mind, but she said that with you, she doesn't. And that you take it quickly and get angry very quickly. It sounds like, you know, you're kind of going through these teenage kind of years. The only problem is that you can't, based on the altercation she just described, it's a little different than a parent and a mom. You got a teenager's kind of getting, you know, sly with you, or, you know, and you know, both of you say the wrong thing or kind of do the wrong thing in like this small moment. She describes an incident that is extended. She doesn't describe an incident where you take the phone, maybe get bothered with her and push her back as she tries to get the phone, because her position is you took the phone, she was trying to get it back from you, and then you pushed her. Okay, I can understand, like, you trying to get the phone, you got a teenager trying to get the phone back from you, you're trying to keep her from getting the phone, she falls. Okay, you could probably accept that something like that could simply happen, but that's not where it stopped, according to her. She said that later on, about 30 minutes later, the altercation starts up again when she's asking you for her phone again. And then y'all got into another argument where you physically place your hand over her mouth, later put her in a chokehold and beat her about the face and the body. That's what she's saying happened.
No.
So I think Mr. Wade said he's going to show me some pictures. I'll take a look at the pictures and let me take a look at what it is, but that's what she says. So the problem is that, you know, you got to have a way of managing teenagers when they're going through these teenage years. You got to have a better way of managing it. You both can't be hotheads, clearly. And so counseling, I think, is appropriate. I'm glad you all have already started it. She said she's actually looking forward to doing it, so that you all can manage each other better, manage to be with each other in a better way. She sounds like she's kind of like glad that maybe you all can have a different way of communicating with each other, because the way y'all are communicating now is going downhill fast, and she kind of sees it and acknowledges it. So Ms. Thomas, I'm not sure exactly what happened between the two of you, but your daughter recognizes that it's causing a lot of strife. And so you guys need to figure this out, and counseling is probably the way to go. So I'm glad you guys are starting it on Monday. I'm going to keep what we have in place that is that she will remain with dad. And I want to get some counseling underway, and then we'll start back easing into some visitation. I had already met with the girls. I had spoken with them previously, and was about to make some announcements anyway. This is actually not far from the court's original announcement anyway. I had spoken with her. She was very clear she wanted to stay with her dad initially. But that, and that's because she doesn't feel like y'all communicate very well with each other. So she's afraid that you all are going to end up butting heads. And apparently it came to a head while before the court made any decisions. But that is what she said. She said it even at the time when she was in court with me, that she was worried that y'all were going to butt heads. Now, at that point, she didn't tell me she realized that she had a hot temper or that she had a smart mouth. I don't think she acknowledged that. But today, which is really interesting for her to be 13 and acknowledge that she has a smart mouth, and that is what causes you to get angry quickly. But the problem is that you're getting angry too quickly when you have teenagers, and you're not managing that very well. If the court were to believe what she presented as to this altercation. And you got to learn how to manage your anger when you have someone who is talking back the way she said that she was. Along those lines, Mr. Way, when you are also managing her, you cannot give a 13-year-old the feeling that she can control her mother based on how you feel like she should control her mother. In other words, she feels very strong that those phones are hers and that device is hers, and that Miss Wade does not have authority over it. And that is coming from you. Like, you're telling her that, and you can't do that. Because what happens is that she's in Miss Wade's home, giving your rules. And then you're gonna have them clashing unnecessarily. You gotta let let your 13-year-old know that if her mom takes the phone for punishment, then that's the phone for punishment. She can't tell her mom, you can't take it. Okay? Because she has the right to parent her child as long as her child is not in danger, as long as it's just for a punishment for purposes for, a few hours, as long as you're still able to contact your child. We got to figure out a way to, and particularly when we're talking about 13 teenagers, they love their devices and they will fight you and hurt you if you take their device from you. I have them at my house, and I know what happens if you try to take a teenager's phone. It's almost if you have disconnected them with the rest of the world, and they will go nuts. But we as parents have to learn how to deal with that and figure out ways of orchestrating ways to punish them appropriately, and not take away from the other parent's ability to parent when you're not there. And so I did find that to be interesting that, she stood by those phones, those devices as being her dad's, and her way of communicating with her dad. So that is something that we need to work on. But I do think that, that was her position, even in the office, without as much clarity as I see now. So that was what the court was going to do anyway. The second thing I was going to do is I talked with Sherry, and Sherry is very clear. She wants to be with her mom. It's not like she has anything negative to say about Mr. Wade. She just does prefer her mom, but she loves her sister and wants to spend as much time with her sister. So that made her torn, because she was like, I feel like my sister, because I didn't tell them, I interviewed them separately. And so I didn't tell them what one person said of the other. She feels like, what she said was, I feel like my sister's going to choose my dad. And that means I'm not going to be with my sister. And that makes me sad, because she really wants to spend her time and evening with her sister, but she also wants to be with her mom. And so she's kind of torn. So I think one of the things I was going to do was have, of course, the girls have weekends together. So whichever parent has the child on the weekend, the girls are together on the weekends. And of course, they're together on any holidays. And also any time that she wants to visit her sister in the evenings and things of that nature, that you all be open to allowing her to do that, so that she can visit, as often as she can. and Miss Thomas, of course, would still have physical custody over her, but that, if she wanted to go to her dad's house for a few hours or, stay overnight on a Wednesday night, which of course will also involve on the other, every other weekends, that she would be able to do that so that she could spend more time with her sister. So that's essentially what I was going to do anyway. But I think sometimes it is it was just one of those coincidences where you guys came up right at the time where I was about to make that decision anyway. But I'm glad to some extent that it did come up like this, because this is one of the things that the girls foreshadowed, that there was going to be this bumping between mom and 13-year-old daughter, but they didn't tell me why. But now I kind of get a little bit better picture of it, that, you guys got to deal with your quick to anger temper better. And so the counseling, I think, it certainly will be able to do that. But Mr. Wade, do you understand what I'm saying about these devices? Because I don't want you to empower your daughter so much that she can't be parented by her mother. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, ma'am, but that's not what I tell her.
Okay, what'd you tell her?
I tell her if she get in trouble, like regardless what, that's some mama household, so she has to abide by that. I don't tell her that I understand it's my device. I just don't want anything to be broken. But if she's in trouble, like I said, I get her the phone. But my situation is when she doesn't have her phone, I don't really have a way to communicate with her.
Yeah.
So unless I talk to the younger sister, but then the younger sister, become things go wrong with that situation, and I can't contact the kids at all times.
Okay.
The only time I can have a way to communicate with her is via email, or I had to
Right.
come up to her school.
So let me ask you this, though. If mom were to take the phone from the 13-year-old, you could still call Sherry on her phone, and Sherry could give the phone to your daughter.
And she won't, because
Why
mom tell her.
it's her mom. Okay, so if I put something in the
Don't
order,
let her talk to him, use the phone or anything.
okay,
And so when they had the altercation and stuff like that, I'm trying to check and see if she's all right. So I have to go to the school and see what's going on with her. I get emails. I don't get that's that.
Right.
Phone is gone. There's no communication.
There's no, okay. So if I were to put something in the order that if her phone is taken, vice versa, you could call the other. Mom could not interfere with your ability to check on them, because the punishment, I want you to make sure you understand this, Thomas Wade. The punishment is not to keep them from being able to talk with their dad. The punishment is to keep them from getting on YouTube and having that type of enjoyment, because you want them to feel the consequences of their actions, not be able to talk to their family and friends. Is not for them not be able to communicate with their dad. Okay.
Right.
If sometimes what'll happen is, because this apparently did happen in this incident, or at least that's what the child is saying, is that when she got the iPad, this is the second altercation that she alleges, that when she got the iPad, she said, I'm going to call my dad and tell what happened. And Miss Wace, according to the child, said, you're not doing anything right now. You're on punishment. Okay. And so then she said there was this altercation with the iPad. But so what I'm trying to say, though, is that I want to make sure you, Ms. Thomas Wade, understands that the child can have the ability to communicate with her parent. Okay. And now I understand that it might be at that moment you say no, because you're listening to me, I'm disciplining you, but you have to give the child an opportunity at some point to talk to her dad. Like once you're done with, presenting what it is that you want to present, and you're done with the punishment, if she says, can I talk to my dad now? You have to allow that to happen, because it would be almost as if you were both in the same household, and, mom did one thing and you were like, okay, but I want to express this to another parent. That child should be able to reach out to that other parent and you not prevent that from happening. And that's vice versa with each of you. So we need to put something in place about how to communicate and how to use these phones and devices, so that we're not over empowering a child to feel like she can say no to one parent or the other. Because that is kind of what I just got from that conversation, was that she felt kind of empowered to tell her mom that she could not take the phone from her, that she could not prevent her from talking to you. So when they're fighting, allegedly struggling, because she won't allow mom to tell her no. And that's kind of what caused the struggle. It doesn't excuse any Miss Thomas allegedly hitting her, because that's just not appropriate. But it does show that there's something that needs to be handled in the discipline, and you guys got to be on the same page with it. But I'm glad you told me, Mr. Wade, that you don't do that, but somehow that's the message she's getting. So let's just make sure we clarify that so she knows that when she's at her mom's home, that those rules apply. But I want Ms. Thomas Way to know that that does not prevent her from at some point being able to reach out with her dad and talk to her dad about what occurred. Because I think that, you know, you got to parent together, and you can't, I don't believe in kind of hiding punishments. Like if you're at the house and you punish her and you say she can't go to the movies, yeah, but don't tell your dad I didn't let you go to the movies. That to me is ridiculous, you know? So I know sometimes people have these real rules that what happens in my house stays in my house. I get that, but we're talking about the rearing of the child, that is not going to be the case. Now, maybe you won't let her talk about who was at your house, or whatever, but the idea of what goes on to her or what affects that child, we don't do secrets. That doesn't make sense to me. So I just want you to be mindful of that. So for right now, we'll do that. Ms. Thomas Way, you said that these counseling sessions starts on Monday, and how long are they set to go?
She didn't actually say yet. I think when defects, because I think normally it'd be like a month or two, if I'm not mistaken. Because it'll be the second time with defects that we've been on the counseling and therapy.
Okay, so y'all have done this before?
Yes, ma'am. And every time we do it, Kaylee, she get on track, and then it's like for some reason, a couple of years later, she just get off track. Like counseling help. She just it's like when she expresses herself, she prefer, I guess, to express herself when she talking to someone else versus when she talking to me. But
Well,
counseling help her.
She said that's because you're quick to anger. And so that causes a problem because you have somebody who's 13 who is strong in her feelings, because sometimes you do have a determined child, which is a good thing to
Yes.
some extent, but she has to understand the level of respect that's necessary for a parent. But all kids aren't always yes ma'am, no ma'am. Someone
Right.
want to know why. In my phone. And when am I going to get it back? Versus you got some kids are like, this is the consequence and deal with it. And you got to realize what kind of kid you got and how you have to manage yourself to be able to parent properly your child.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll do that temporary order. Ms. Holloway, if you don't mind doing that for me, temporary order indicating that the child will remain in dad's custody. He'll have primary over the child. Ms. Thomas Way will have primary over Sharia. And for right now, we'll keep there'll be no visitation for the first 6 weeks. So we can give the counseling an opportunity to kind of get in, and then after that, we'll meet back here in 6 weeks, kind of see where we are, and then we'll put a permanent plan in place.
Okay. Do you still want me to send over the photos and the documents?
I do. I want to see them so I can make some determinations as to what occurred. Right now, I have what she says. I have what one person says. I have what another person says. They both indicate no one saw it. So I asked her, was there any witnesses? She said no. The friend that was at her house, either she was already gone by the time the altercation occurred, and then she said Sharia. Is it Sharia or Sharia?
Sharia.
I'm sorry. Sharia was not around. So she said Sharia did not see anything. So all I have is one board over the other. I also take in consideration the police, because the police normally, if they see visible signs of abuse, they have to do something. Apparently, if they didn't do any arrests or make any reports, the concept is at that time they didn't see anything. Although Mr. Way has told me that is completely incorrect and that he saw some things and took her to the doctor's office. So I want to see what it was that Mr. Way saw and what was documented so that I can make some final determinations as to what happened, and put some things in place. Right now, I'm just temporarily erring on the side of caution, at least because at least she has acknowledged that they have some communication issues and they need to work through them so that we don't have altercations, whether there are completely verbal altercations that get out of the way, because those things are just as damaging, or if they're physical altercations that get out of the way. We clearly don't want that. And so that's what we're going to do. We'll get the counseling started. And Ms. Thomas Way, if for some reason, I don't know if you have access to any additional counseling that is not through DFACS, but if that doesn't work and you have some other consideration for counseling through a church or through some other organization that you want to try, we could also do that if for some reason the DFACS doesn't start as quickly or is not as in depth as you think is necessary to help. We could also consider that. I don't know if
Okay.
you don't have any insurance or anything of that nature that we could consider, but I'm also open to that. Mr. Way?
Yes, as far as goes to counseling and stuff like that, because of them not being with me, like insurance can go through me, and my insurance can cover the counseling and stuff like that. Because I do work for the Cal County School, so I'll have more access to resources like that for her. So since she's been with me, like I said, I've already contacted the school and stuff like that. So the resources are there. I
Okay.
just have to get everything into play. So with as far as the insurance goes, because she was on Medicaid and stuff like that. I can transfer both of the kids over, but I have to get the information from the mother so I can put them on my insurance.
Okay, that would definitely work. Yeah, we could do that. And if you all with Miss Holloway, if you don't mind working with Miss Thomas to get that done so that we can get the child on an insurance. But like I said, if DFACS has this counseling and they can get it started quickly, we can do that too. But if it doesn't get started quickly or y'all are dissatisfied with that, we can consider other options as well. But like I said, my position is that I ultimately have already made a decision on the parenting, but I don't know how we're going to do the actual visitation, and that is what I want to wait on. So we're going to wait 6 weeks on that. But I'm not. My position is what it is. One daughter will be at Mr. Way. One daughter will be at Ms. Thomas Way. They will meet in between, and I'm going to figure that out based on how this counseling goes. Did you have something else, Mr. Way?
Yes, ma'am. Because this is like how the custody was when they were staying with me. When we had joint, we split the kids up. So Monday through Thursday, the kids will be with me, and on when they out Thursday, she'll come pick them up from school. So we had split them up like that. But as far as when it comes to both, because I want to
Well,
be
they're
with
not
both of
split
them.
up. I thought you said they're with you. That's not a split.
No, they was with me, but when they went, on Thursday, she would come pick them up from
Right.
school, and she'd get both of them. So we
Yeah.
never, we didn't separate the kids; they were together like this.
Right. And
Because
I
like I
think
said,
I think that's what they wanted.
that's what I wanted for them. But the situation is, she took the kids from me with no explanation as to why I couldn't see the kids. It took me 2 years to see the kids before we even got to this point. The only reason I got the kids because she had gotten incarcerated. That's the only reason I saw the kids. I haven't seen the kids in between that. When she took the kids back in May of 21, I didn't see the kids. The kids, the only time I saw the kids when we went to school, when I went up to their school to check on them and have lunch with them. So
Well,
there was
Mr.
no
Wade, they
explanation
did.
as to why.
That's not what they told me though. I know that's what you said to me, but when I interviewed them, they did not claim they missed a beat with you. They did. So whatever happened in that time frame that you were saying, the kids said that they saw you just as much as they saw their mom. That's what they said. So,
No,
well,
that can't be that.
I get that, but I'm just telling you what they said. So that's the reason why. Remember at the end when you guys were both telling me, oh no, the kids were primarily with me. The other was like, oh no, the kid was primarily with me. I don't know what you're talking about. I've always had them. I don't know what you're talking about. I always had them. The first thing I did when I interviewed your girls was figure out how much time they spent with each of you. We went through second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I know we went through several years, at least 4 with the
But
girls.
yeah, but that
They
was
did not indicate that there was this extended period of time where they were not with both of you. So I'm not saying it didn't happen because they were young. So, maybe in their memories, but when they talked to me about it, I came out with this, and I remember coming out with this because it's really funny how you have people talking and you go into the room and one of them can't be telling the truth. Like you could talk to the kids, you're like, one of y'all ain't telling the truth. This was one of the first times where I left out with going, I don't know what happened here, but there was nothing definitively that placed one of you over the other, that they really did feel like they were being parented equally by both of you. There were times where they spent more time with their dad, and there was time where they felt like they spent more time with their mom. That is how they presented it. And so I don't have a guardian ad litem in this case. That was what I had in front of me, and that's what I used. So just so you'll be mindful of that. And then the second thing I talked with them about was their just individual feelings about each of you. just try to get an idea of what would be best. And let me tell you, I don't split kids up lightly. I do not. I don't really care for splitting children up. It is not something I do. In fact, it's hardly rare for me to do that. Now, attorneys might come to me and they have both attorneys and they've already figured it out and they split it and they ask me to take it or accept it. I talk to the kids, I talk to the parents, and I go, okay, I'll do it. But for me personally, to make a decision to split the kids up on my own, this is probably one of the few, and I've been on the bench for 16 years that I can actually think that I made the decision to do it myself without it being presented by attorneys. So I don't take it lightly. Just want you to be mindful of that, okay?
Your Honor, one thing, and I'm not really sure how to address this because I think I recall that we're on YouTube, but there was an accusation that the minor child was pregnant.
Yes, she has no idea where that came from.
Okay. She's very concerned about that.
She says maybe somebody got the wrong medical record or misread it. She said she has no idea. She appeared to be genuinely shocked and she was confused. So it looked like maybe Ms. Thomas Way I don't know, whatever you have, Ms. Thomas Way, please share it with Mr. Way. She seems to believe she has no idea how that could even happen. So there you go.
Your Honor, do you want me to send it to Kaylee? Because since I can't contact Mr. Way, you want me to just send it through Kaylee?
Send it Ms. Holloway so Ms. Holloway can have that record and then figure out. But that's what she says. She has no idea how that could be the case.
And I've emailed Ms. Marshall and I copied Ms. Thomas Way with the photos and things we talked about today. So she can just respond back to that email, and then that's with the court as well as with me.
Okay. All right, then. So there we are for now. And we will meet back here in 6 weeks to finalize everything. And that's basically in the finalization, we're going to talk about communication piece, the phone, how we're going to handle that, how we're going to do holidays, how we're going to do the midday visitation or something of that nature. So I'm going to try to give the girls as much time as possible with each other, but also to make sure that they're comfortable in their situation. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys back here in 6 weeks or so. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with the last case. If I had said anything like that to my mom, stay in your lane, I still wouldn't be able to sit down. My butt would still hurt to this day. I wouldn't be able to sit down because my dad would have taken care of that. And it's unfortunate that the daughter is able to play the parents off each other. And in fact, it sounds like the father is using the daughter to control the ex. That's just my opinion. I think that's completely wrong. I think they need to work together because they have a very bratty child. And then the first case, I didn't think the guy was being rude to the court. I think he had some very valid concerns, very valid issues to bring up. And I don't think he was being that rude. And I don't think the judge really addressed him. I think the judge kind of said, don't take drugs and drive, but here's your kid back. I don't know, just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so very much for watching tonight, and I'll see you next time.